Okay, so by the time this one is edited, we now have our new intro that Colton put together, and I'm quite happy with how that thing turned out. It looks spectacular.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Colton Hunt, for always being amazing. And another small detail that we have to add. Took me a second to get in here because I had to realize the only shirt I have that would have been perfect to wear for this, I can't wear because my Marvel Zombies t-shirt that I have is in the wash. I'll try my best to make sure to wear it on the next recording to prove that I'm not just pulling shit out of my ass, that I actually have the shirt. But yeah, it's an old comic, like Bose font too. Oh, it's really nice. But anyway, it was really good.
The title, I love how the title is just, what if zombies?
Yeah, no real ethical question, nothing like that. No clever things like it before. Not if, what if Marvel's heroes became the undead zombies?
But for those who want to know the pitch, it's what happens. What would happen if the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp and Avengers of Infinity War occurred differently? So we start off with Bruce Banner crashing down to Earth, falling through the stairs of Doctor Strange's
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yep. And he rises and notices the town is empty. Then Glaive and the other child of Thanos comes in. They're like doing their thing, and then he gets saved by the Avengers, except they're dead.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't read the original Marvel Zombies. I don't know how it originates, but what I was not expecting is that they still had high enough brain function to operate everything that they had.
For better, for worse, what made these zombies terrifying is the fact that, like you said, they were like, they were just dead enough to not have a conscience, but still physically capable of doing all their things. Like the muscle memory is there still.
Yeah, correct me.
I think that's where the horror of it comes in.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Did it seem like they came in via Bifrost in the start?
Oh, you talking about the zombies?
In the first one, when he first gets to New York, it comes out the door, and Glaive and Ebony Maw are there.
It did. It looked a little bit like the Bifrost.
So I was entirely confused when Thor was not there.
Only a little.
Because it was just Wong, Strange, and Tony. Of like, what was that pure beam of white light that they came through? I don't know. And I did think it. And this is the part where I talk about higher brain function of just how like they're in a universe doing things the way they would. And what I mean by that is as he's talking and Ebony Maw is doing his, I believe it's Ebony Maw, I think.
Yeah, Maw is the one who's like, hush, child, for the time has come.
Yeah, like the sling ring portal opens behind his head and you just lightly see the repulsor gauntlet come through and blow him through the back of the head. I'm like, is Tony not a zombie yet? And all of a sudden it cuts and he's fully a zombie. I'm like, he just made a joke blast on Ebony Maw and he's a zombie?
We'll get to the most terrifying thing later when we talk about the back half. But I gotta admit that like that first shot of Tony being all zombified, that was good.
It was.
It was very effective.
Yeah, and it was cool how they're like, I was honestly wondering, were they just gonna say, zombies, we don't give a shit, it's just here, I don't care. And then all of a sudden they were like, no, something happened to Janet in the quantum realm. I'm like, This is probably the most thought that's ever been put into a zombie thing ever. Because normally it's just T-virus. Throw the thing in there because we're idiots. Or something random. There's never a lot of thought put in. But this was the most kind of like, yeah, she's in the quantum realm for like 30 years. She got fucked up. Which makes sense. And, oh my gosh. I think Mark Ruffalo is happy to do anything for Marvel that he can.
I agree.
At this point. Because he's in all of these what ifs. They're getting a lot more actual big name actors to be these what ifs than what I expected. And I don't know what exactly I expected, but I figured that they weren't going to get them in for these little recording sessions.
Yeah. Oh, like you thought there'd be more scratch vocalists.
Yeah.
They're coming into.
Yeah. Sounded like stuff like that, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that wasn't actually Tom Holland, was it?
No.
That dude did a good job.
He did. So his name is Hudson Thames, and I think there's some speculation as for why Holland isn't in this, because it kind of conflicts with the deal that Disney and Sony has. So this would technically count as
appearances.
Yeah, this would count as an appearance, and I guess Sony was like, Nah, you're not gonna do that.
Got it. Yeah, no, that dude did a good job. And having him be the what do I want to say? Jamie Kennedy's role in Scream.
Or Jesse Eisenberg in Zombieland.
Yeah. You had such a random group of characters in this too. The guy, is it Frank?
Kurt. From Ant-Man.
From like, of all people, him?
They needed an everyman, someone who wasn't an Avenger, but like also kind of knew Hank and Scott and everyone.
Yeah, they're going through like that intro cards of everybody, of what their specialties are, like him, what was it, accents? And then my favorite one, by far my favorite one. They're going through all of them, and then it gets to Sharon Carter, and the very end is eulogies. Like, because she gave Peggy's eulogy, that's her specialty.
Apparently.
I'm like, they got some smart shit going behind these, and I'm so happy they're doing these because there's a lot of little love and charm that never would make it into normal movies.
Mm-hmm. I'll get my one complaint out of the way. I think this and Captain Carter are the two episodes that feel the most hindered by the 30-minute runtime. I think you could have fleshed this one out.
This should have been a movie.
Yes.
I agree. Because they had a good plot line set out. Because imagine, if we will, I'm just going to go through the plot of it and we'll talk through it more. You got the setup where he gets in. That could have been extended. Finding everyone. They probably could have spent half an hour exploring around in Grand Central Station. And then just like, it should have took like 10 to 20 minutes of them just dicking around camp. Starts with an H, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that camp, that should have been like 20 minutes of them finally finding Wanda.
Yeah, if you expanded like that sequence, it probably would have made Wanda's appearance a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more terrifying, because the character design of her is like damn.
Yeah. And the thought of a not in her right mind, zombified, flesh-hungry Scarlet Witch is terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, and they have, we'll get to it, but they have the most perfect zombie movie cliche thing ever at the end of this of, Yay, salvation. We found where the cure is. No, you are 1,000 times more fucked than what you thought you were. But yeah, but let's just go through everything. They start out in New York and the Cape again. The fact that the Cape was going to be a full character in this, didn't expect that.
I love it.
Oh, it's great. Then they have all the seed there, and they catch up with the rest of the Avengers after again Maw and Glaive get done. And they have, like you said, the Zombieland-esque freaking instructional video with again Happy. The cast in this episode was just the most. What are our zombie tropes? Yeah, Happy will work for that. Kurt will work for that.
Okoye, of course.
Okoye. She was just like, why is she there? Why? Why? Because it's a horror movie. She has to be. And I do love how they didn't obey the trope of the black guy dying first.
Thank God.
He's one of the ones that makes it, actually.
Yep.
Oh, man. And then the other one is the virgin. The other one is that the virgin always survives. And there's Holland. Gone off to Wakanda. As soon as you have sex, you're screwed. But also, they have the whole scene inside of the they have the whole scene inside Grand Central Station, which again should have been expanded. Like me and Mike have both said, this should have been a movie, and they should start making animated movies again. Disney, don't be stupid.
You have a whole studio now. You can do that.
Exactly. And even if you just release them on Disney Plus, no theatrical releases, I would have saw this in theaters. Either way, no theatrical releases, just put them on Disney Plus. You can't tell me that for like $5 you release a full movie and you have everyone that owns Disney it's Disney Plus that buys it for Marvel. You're going to make a theatrical release worth of money in a month.
Mm-hmm.
People forget. We did the math the other day. They make Avengers 1 money every month now.
Yeah.
They're so set. It's insane. But you get to see Falcon and you get to see Hawkeye in a lot of people in that Central Station thing. It's crazy to think they're only there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's just like,
So much of this episode could have been expanded.
It could have. It's just like, you could have also, again, you could have expanded stuff with her in the quantum realm, even for a little bit. And then like the scene of him coming back out could have been a little bit more. They had an hour-and-a-half movie in here. It's so well plotted out. God damn it!
So if I were to make this like a full 90-minute feature, I would have actually started with like a 5 to 10 minute prologue of say like this was still taking place in the Marvel universe in the MCU. I would start with like, I would start with Hank like going into the quantum zone, finding Janet. He thinks like, oh, this is going to be some grand happy reunion, and then she turns around.
Yep.
And then that's when you get the Marvel logo. You get a little fancy opening.
Yep.
And then Bruce comes down, and then
you get the Marvel. You get the Resident Evil jaw slack off when she turns around. Ruffalo comes down. Oh. Man, I hope they know the gold mine they have with the studio.
I'm sure they will.
But
Let's talk a little bit more about why Wanda is where she is.
Yeah.
And B, the vision of it all.
Yeah. We don't have much more to talk about Grand Central Station. And they get going, and you get to, I thought somehow they were going to do a reverse Maguire with the train. Like he was going to like pull himself all the way back and then like jettison himself and kick the train for some reason.
Oh, that would have been badass.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do a reverse Maguire because there's a scene in like multiple scenes in the Spider-Man game where in cutscenes they have him catapult himself with pressure. But they had him, and again, they had this all well really thought out with like the pressure of him jump starting it with the brake press set in. You get on the train, and you get Cap again. And this time he eats shit. He finishes off Sharon, gets sliced in half by Bucky. It says, "It's the end of the line, pal." Freaking zombie thriller. Oh, these lines. I was just like, that is corny as shit, and it's perfect. And then you get Thanos. Give or take. They did it the intelligent way. And how it would have been done if it was ever in a movie. She went in through the mouth. Believe it or not, it would not have had to have been through Thanos' ass. But the stupid thing, and it's what all these people do in these movies with these protective suits that they have, she explodes Sharon, and then seconds after the guts haven't settled, she miniaturizes her helmet. I'm like, if there's a little bit of saliva that was stuck underneath them guts and it falls on you, you're screwed. And I was like, maybe that's how they're going to do it. And they're like, no, it's a cut on the shoulder. I'm like, I just wish they would have brought up how stupid people are when that crap happens, where they're like, oh, perfectly fine. Take the helmet off. It's great. I won't get shot. Or like all those movies, like in freaking Saving Private Ryan, when they're on the beach and he gets tinged in the helmet. He's like, oh, thank God, you lucky son of a boom. And then one shot later, his head's blown off. It's just like, yay, understand. But, man. Then the acknowledgement, finally.
Of Uncle Ben.
Yes! How have they gotten through all these appearances in movies, 2 Spider-Man films, and they haven't mentioned Uncle Ben once?
The closest they ever got was in Far From Home, when Peter's in the airport. His luggage says, like, B. Parker.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's insane. Like, they don't have to show the great power comes great responsibility shtick. They don't. They even tried to avoid it in the Amazing Spider-Man films by having Martin Sheen do 500 circles around saying the exact same thing in a speech to Parker. But, yeah. And I was just like, how are we just mentioning Uncle Ben? And it's in a what if.
Right?
It's nuts. Because I guess we have too much time hitting on Marissa Tomei.
I love the Spider-Man movies, but they also frustrate me.
They frustrate me too. And you want to know what also frustrates me? Everyone that comments on Marissa Tomei. Can we bring up a small thing here quick? Miniature Brock rant here. I'm not going to scream this time. I promise. But everyone's like, as soon as Marissa Tomei got casted and she showed up in Civil War, I will admit, the way she was done up, she had makeup on and her hair all nice, and she was wearing dress clothes and stuff. She looked a lot different in Civil War than she's presented in any of the Spider-Man films. She dresses a lot more plainly. Her hair is a little bit less kempt sometimes. Like, you could tell she's stressed raising Peter and doing all this other stuff. Like, she never looked as immaculately framed and presented as she did in that moment where she's sitting with Tony in the kitchen, in the living room when Peter walks out. First of all, everyone's like, she's too young. She can't be Aunt May. Here's the problem. I understand that Aunt May has been presented in a certain way in comics and in the original Spider-Man films and the Amazing Spider-Man films. It is still Aunt May, not Grandma May.
Or Great Aunt May.
Yes. So if Marissa Tomei was 40, she'd be acceptable because it's his aunt. But when Marissa Tomei was casted, she was 50. She's approaching. No, my mom's 54 and she's a grandmother of 6 different kids. She's more than okay to be an aunt. just because she doesn't have gray hair doesn't mean she can't be Aunt May.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, you get that really great speech from Peter about him losing people. That's a great Peter Parker speech because he loses a lot of people.
Pretty much his entire existence, other than the quips and the flips,
Yes,
is like his dealing with loss.
Mm-hmm. He has one of the shittiest, what do I want to say, setups in the Marvel Universe, but he's still meant to be the positive one. And that's one thing that I love about Spider-Man, and they haven't quite done it in the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland yet. They haven't really nailed it in any of the one that nailed this dichotomy the best was actually probably the first Spider-Man movies, where Peter only feels confident when he's in the Spider-Man suit. And he's a bumbling moron outside of it some days.
Yep.
And then he turns into quippy action hero man once he's inside the suit. And that's why it's like, okay, I'm Peter. I'm the kid that's lost some stuff in his life. But when I'm Spider-Man, I'm the person that's protecting other people. And I need to make sure that they know that I'm not struggling with stuff so that they don't need to struggle. And the whole smile for them thing, I was just like, that's Spider-Man. I love it. So good. And then you get the called out instantly thing that I knew was going to happen. Hope wasn't making it. And then all of a sudden they're like, you could get over them. I'm like, are you going to fly all of them? They're like, no, she was going to walk with them. I'm like, okay, that makes sense because you get to see the, like, what I want to say, Army of the, or Night of the Living Dead-esque level of just fields of zombies.
Yep.
And Hope walks them all over. And instantly in my head, I'm like, she's not going to shrink. She's going to consciously make the decision to not shrink just so that she's a problem later. And what happens? She became a problem later. Because a sensical human being would have went, okay, they need help. I'm going to shrink so I don't become fucking Godzilla when I turn.
Yeah, the smart thing to do would have been once her hand is like over the fence, so she can drop him off. Then she'd be like, then she would shrink and fly away.
Yep, exactly. Yep, exactly.
But they needed an obstacle to get in their way before heading off to Wakanda.
Yeah, exactly. She would have shrunk, flew away, and then just, not to sound like a perv, stripped the suit off immediately so that she couldn't use her powers after that she was done. Because that's what I would have done. I'd be like, nope, not giving him an advantage. Screw the suit, take everything off. Not happening. I'm going to be going commando in the zombie apocalypse, and someone's not going to like when they find me, but I'm not being a threat. Then they get to that camp. And again, this should have been the last third of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good setup.
I gotta ask, with like Vision's whole deal in this episode, did he kind of remind you of the governor from The Walking Dead?
Now, keep in mind, it's gonna sound really pathetic. I started watching The Walking Dead because of a girl I was dating. We stopped dating after I was done with season 2.
Oh, okay. So you haven't met the governor yet.
I know of the governor, like I know what he's like, but I have not seen him. But again, I heard enough from her while I was dating her to know what his spiel is, and I do agree with you from what I've been told that he's like the governor in The Walking Dead. Yeah.
The only difference, though, and I'm kind of glad about this, is Vision is such a he's such a character built on logic that he knows what he did was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also taken responsibility for his actions.
Mm.
So, well, he definitely still loves Wanda. Once he helps like them escape the camp, he's still like, no, I'm staying behind because I gotta do what I gotta do.
Also, I kind of had a thought, and I don't know if they did this on purpose, but WandaVision, out of stricken from grief of not being able to live her life without Vision, she brings back Vision in this grand fantasy of WandaVision and basically resurrects her dead hubby. And what if Vision can't be without Wanda, so he keeps the undead version of Wanda in the basement?
The parallels, man.
Yeah, and it's just like they go out of their way in the Marvel universe to show that these two love each other more than anyone else in the Marvel universe, outside of maybe Hank and Janet.
Yeah, I think if we had to list like the 3 OTPs of the MCU, it's Peggy and Steve,
Yep.
Janet and Hank,
Yep.
and then literally number 3 would be Wanda and Vision. Number 4 is Tony and Pepper.
I think so. And then 5?
Is there a 5th?
Well, I gotta think how many other really strong, well-established, like Cap's got Peggy, Tony's got Pepper.
I would
Thor, nothing. Like they were starting to get there with Gamora and Peter. Hank and Hope, or Scott and Hope, are there, but they're not like grandiose.
They're not top 4 material.
No, and Shang-Chi literally didn't even have one. Like
I would say Hawkeye and his wife, but
again, you don't get to see much of it.
Right.
And then Peter and MJ, you don't get to see much of it. No, dang it. Number 5 is Ned and Betty. And that boy has become a man. And we're in love.
Good God.
But anyway, yeah. So they through their grief, he's kept her alive. Somehow he kept her locked in the basement and asleep while T'Challa was just hanging out on a bed. Like, would he just fed her a leg of his? Like, I don't know. But he's keeping them out of the compound with the Mind Stone, which I thought was a cool touch. I just thought where it was going to be like maybe there's some pheromone emitting from there because they're not trying to climb the fences. And then I saw there's a blown apart chunk. I'm like, oh, trying to walk in there. Like, wait, what? And then I thought it was when Frank?
Kurt.
Gosh dang it, I screwed him up again. Kurt, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying Frank. I don't think there's anyone in the Marvel Universe named Frank. But mentions Baba Yaga, I was like, okay, Scarlet Witch is here. That's what I thought he meant. And I thought she was going to be the one keeping him out because, you know, she came up with everything in WandaVision. I'm like, that makes sense that she could make a barrier to keep them out. And then no, it was Vision who was protecting Wanda because Baba Yaga means witch.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. For those
it's easy foreshadowing, but foreshadowing nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. And again, man, everything with like Vision's turn, like for being evil, you could have had some more explanation to where like Banner looking through the computer, like Banner looks through the computer and finds the logs while Vision is standing there within minutes. Like there should have been a classic, we're just looking through, you're not going to find what you're looking for. And then they're just looking through stuff like, all right, let's look at his research, whatever, while Vision is tending with someone else. It's a boilerplate zombie movie. But like you said, it is so easy to just go at 5 minutes to that scene of this, at 10 minutes to that scene of that. And it's a full feature.
And the reason why I say that, especially for this movie, this episode, is because I do kind of feel like at some points, like the humor kind of undercuts some of the emotional beats.
Yeah, it does. And it's like when you get people like, that was Paul Rudd, right?
Yep.
Okay. Holy crap. Was Paul Rudd having the time of his life being animated head? He was Mr. Freeze in, was that Batman Forever? Or I mean Batman Beyond? When Freeze is just a head?
I think so.
He's just a disembodied head for whatever reason that he just keeps around. And the worst part is, and this is just me speculating with zombie tropes here, there's no way to know for sure that he actually got cured, or if we're going by zombie logic, where some zombie movies go, like say if you got bit in the wrist, hack the arm off.
Right.
You're okay. It looked like he got bit in the stomach. I don't know if his head got detached and he just fixed it. I don't know. They probably did cure him, but through research and all that, it's like you could have shown like Vision being normal, slowly transitioning into being weird by saying a couple of things. And that kind of like zombie movie villain expositing coming from Vision of all people,
that makes the situation more terrifying.
It does, because it's like you're having the most intelligent being the humans have, pretty much, based on nothing but logic, explaining to you why he's doing one of the dumbest things ever.
And out of love.
Exactly. That's crazy. How off the walls great of an idea that is. Ah, just dripping with possibilities. Just crazy. But yeah. So by the time they get here, it's only Peter,
Scott, and
well, Scott's there, but by the time they get there, it's down to Peter, Okoye, Bucky, and then
Bruce.
When does Kirk get killed?
Oh shoot, I don't remember when.
Does Kirk get killed in the subway?
No.
I'm legit forgetting when Kirk gets killed. Kurt makes it there because he makes the Baba Yaga comment. So Kirk gets killed.
Right.
When they're there. I just don't remember when he does. Wanda probably just ices him at some point. I don't remember exactly what happens, but they find T'Challa in the basement, figure him out, get him up there, and then within seconds, they're like, oh no, you woke her up. Oh, he gets blasted by Wanda through the door because he's the one standing there. That's what happens. And yeah, again, I could not stress enough how terrifying a zombie Wanda would be.
Yeah, now imagine that in live action with Elizabeth Olsen in full zombie makeup, but wearing the Scarlet Witch costume.
Yeah, it's just, and she's very expressive with her face and her hands and everything. It's just like, I always imagine Anthony Mackie has cursed me for a lot of stuff in these junkets that they do. When he was on, I want to say James Corden's TV. It's James Corden, right? It's James something. I want to say it's James Corden.
Probably, yeah.
But they were on his talk show, and all of a sudden he's like, "You do a lot of finger acting." And then Elizabeth Olsen, with her quintuple jointed fingers, is like showing all the stuff. Then you see Anthony Mackie going, "Look at the fingers! Look at him! Look at it! Look at it!" So every time she's doing this shit, I always hear Anthony Mackie in the back of my head. Come on, zoom in on her fingers. He's the ultimate hype man for anyone that he's friends with. But yeah, imagining her with how good she is with expressively acting. Oh, it'd be crazy. Oh my gosh. And I'm trying to thinking of a rotted version of like you really wouldn't see that. You basically just see Vision again, but again, wasted potential. But like they're not gonna make, it's gonna be a long time before they start making live action They aren't even making animated What If movies before they start making live action What If movies. Just imagine for like some special anniversary that would happen to have a Friday Halloween.
Oh,
And they're like, we're gonna plan this. We know that date's coming. Make this just for something cool.
I would love to see that.
Be cool. Be really great. I'm just saying, Marvel, you could have that one for free.
Okay, so we're now 5 episodes into What If.
There's something we haven't forgot. There's something we didn't mention in this episode.
Oh?
It's the zombie cliche. They get out. Hulk sacrifices himself, obviously, to get a little bit more time. So does Bucky. And then those guys get in the jet. It's just T'Challa, the headless, or the head of Scott Lang with the cape, who's Wingardium Leviosa as he leaves. And, also, the man-eater comment, although it does undercut it, I thought was hilarious.
That was good.
Yeah.
I do like all of Scott's dad puns.
Yes. And then Peter are in the plane leaving, and then they almost get stopped by Hope because, again, I'm like, she didn't shrink, so she's going to catch the plane. I knew that coming a mile away. But they leave, and it's always the zombie, finally, we escaped. Oh, shit. And it goes to Wakanda, and you see zombie Infinity Gauntlet wielding Thanos.
Yep.
Like, there's no longer a level of fuck that you're not right now.
Okay, that actually brings up another point that I've noticed about pretty much all of the What Ifs so far. Did you know that like each one ends with a downer?
Okay? 2 ends with Ego kidnapping Peter. What's the first one?
Well, the first one is.
Did he just redo First Avenger where he wakes up?
Basically. Well, It's not that she wakes up; it's that she goes to the portal, but then she realizes she went forward in time.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, they have all ended up on downers. That is weird.
Yeah, because episode 3 ends with Loki took over the world.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Episode 4 is the literal end of the universe.
Hold on. Don't they? Well, he did take over the world, and they're going to go fight him. They have a little bit brighter in 3 because they try to assemble the Avengers. But yeah, literal end of the universe, and then
zombie Thanos.
Yeah, zombie Thanos. Goodness gracious.
Now, before I ask you to rank these, any sort of wild mass speculation about where episode 6 could go?
Well, that's a loaded question. I would need to know what the next one is.
You know what? I'm just gonna keep saying it until it actually happens. I think next episode is the Ultron one.
Is the Ultron one? I'm gonna make a guess. The next one's the Gamora one.
Oh, what if Gamora ends up on Earth?
Or like Gamora is in Thanos armor. It's like what if Gamora became Thanos or something? On the poster for What If, Gamora is in like Thanos armor.
Huh.
Yeah, go to the Disney Plus page once. It's in the top left if you go to the What If section.
Yeah, let me take a look at this. Because that poster is still just...
It's amazing. And we've seen 3/5 of it.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
And there I see Ultron, I see the zombies, Captain Carter.
Star-Lord, T'Challa. Man. But yeah, I'm just gonna guess that it's that one. Or it's the one where Chris Evans voices Peter Parker. Which isn't it like if Peter becomes the Sorcerer Supreme or something like that?
Yeah, that one might be next, or they might be saving that one for the end.
It could be because that's Chris's last thing.
Interesting how that is where Chris Evans ends up.
Yeah, and also it's outside of Ryan Reynolds, who is close, but I still think is behind by like 6 roles. Has anyone ever come close to Vertigo, DC, Marvel, anything? Come close to the amount of fucking comic book roles that Chris Evans has taken on.
Because Djimon Hounsou?
Oh, he'd be up there. What has he all been in?
He's in both Aquaman and Shazam.
Aquaman and Shazam, okay.
Guardians and Captain Marvel.
Okay.
But he's playing the same character in those two.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. He might be in other things too.
Character. He's played 8. I apologize. He's not played 10. All right. And again, this is graphic novels.
Oh, wait. Djimon Hounsou's in Constantine.
Oh, that's right. He's up there. So he is up there. Okay. He has Captain America, Human Torch. He was Jensen in The Losers. He was Lucas Lee in Scott Pilgrim. He was Curtis in Snowpiercer, which is a graphic novel.
Yep.
He was technically Loki.
Technically.
He was technically Loki. He was Nick Grant in Push.
That's a comic book movie?
Apparently, it's based off a graphic novel. This film is tied to comic books, but in a different way than the rest. There's no source material for Push when Doug Liman's movie was being developed, so when he was cast to lead the original character, this changed. The film continued to move forward with a prequel comic. The movie was created.
Oh,
so he became a comic book character. He also voiced Casey Jones in the TMNT animated movie, the one that came before the reboots.
Oh,
the 2007 one.
Oh, okay.
And is there another one? But yeah, there's all those. But then Ryan Reynolds is up there too because he's been in freaking RIP, R.I.P.D., Deadpool, Blade Trinity, Green Lantern. There's other ones I'm not thinking of. He's another one of those where it's like they're technically comic books, but they're technically not because technically Tom Hanks has been in a comic book movie.
Yep.
Road to Perdition is a graphic novel, technically.
Yep.
But that's always one of those like trivia questions where we're coming up with trivia questions. No one's asked them like, what comic book movie has Tom Hanks been in? And they're all like, you're on crack. I'm like, no, I'm not. But ranking outside of if T'Challa became Star-Lord, which is going to be number 1 with a bullet for a while, I honestly want to say that they get better each and every episode.
So you've got number 1 is Star-Lord T'Challa.
Well, I should say Star-Lord T'Challa. Hold on, I gotta think now. It was Star-Lord T'Challa. Source lost his heart instead of his hands. What was 3 again?
3 was if the Avengers lost.
The Avengers lost. Yeah. So I take that back. Take that back. We'll do Sorcerer Supreme lost his hands. This one, well, T'Challa, the Sorcerer Supreme lost his heart instead of his hands. Gosh dang it. T'Challa, Sorcerer Supreme lost his hands. This one, Avengers, then
Captain Carter.
Then Captain Carter. Yeah.
Mine only looks a little bit different. I've got Star-Lord T'Challa at number 1. Right under that is number 2. If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is Episode 3. What if the Avengers lost? Number 2 is Marvel Zombies, and number 1 is Captain Carter. Yeah.
In your last one.
Yeah.
I got you. Which again, we're not slamming Captain Carter. I have loved all of these. It is from a liking.
They're all like at a minimum a 4 out of 5.
Oh, absolutely. Most of them are 5s in my opinion. But like only 2 of them have been 4s. This one and then Carter. Honestly, Star-Lord T'Challa was a 10 out of 5. But
Yes.
to talk about that. Yeah. Yeah, these are great. And there's an idea that I have that I'm going to message you about after this, because we have to cut out and then I have to start streaming the other things. I'm going to start streaming Life is Strange right after this, because I don't got to work tomorrow and I really want to play that game. And they've released all 5 episodes at once, so I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I think this might be, WandaVision is still my favorite thing that they've put out. I think this might be my second.
As a collective, I think What If might be my favorite, but number 2 is Loki. WandaVision number 3, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier number 4.
Okay. We okay with that? Nice. Cool. I don't have any other thoughts, so I think we could get on out of here. All right.
Yeah.
Mike, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at CaptainK42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Look for us on Podchaser. You can listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, streaming, all that good stuff. I finally got my new setup done. Thank you, Augusto Draws. I'm going to try and shout you out whatever I can, because you're amazing and you want to do more work with me and some people that I'm friends with. So I greatly appreciate that. I trying to switch up my streaming schedule. Originally it was Mass Effect on Mondays, but I think I'm going to switch to Control on Mondays, because I have not played it yet. I'm going to keep streaming Donkey Kong 64 outside of Mike got to witness me horribly get my ass kicked by the camera in one room in Angry Aztec. And I hate that room I did when I was a kid, and I hate it now. I kicked ass after you got off that stream, by the way. I cleared like another 10 bananas worth of shit after you.
Oh, nice.
Like, of course, he keeps out, and then I did really good. And then this weekend, after this goes up, which will be tomorrow, I'm pretty much going to stream on any off day that I can Life is Strange to clear that out. So once October hits, I'm going to be playing Resident Evil games, as many as I can clear through. So we'll see. And until next time, we will see you guys later.
Peace.